Hi, everyone. We're back for another weekly update, this time from Hong Kong. And the special guest today is Ryan X. Charles of yours. I'm sure lots of you know his videos on his channel. Check him out. I'll make sure to put a link in the description. Like, he has lots of fantastic videos describing what's going on in the Bitcoin space. And actually, his videos are what inspired me to start making these videos. So thank you for that.
All right. Well, thank you very much. Yeah. Glad I could inspire you for that.
Yeah, you definitely did. And we're in Hong Kong today. We just finished the Coin Geek Conference yesterday, and another full day of Bitcoin stuff all day today as well, which was great. And we have a list of things we can talk about that happened in the last week.
Yeah. I mean, the big thing is a Coin Geek Conference, but maybe we can start with the thing I was most excited about. It's funny, of course, I gave a presentation, you talked. I was most excited about Purse.io because they had a number of announcements that were really interesting, like accepting Bitcoin Cash, or they're going to accept it. They launched a new product called BCASH.
Everybody's been excited about BCASH for quite a while, so it's finally here, everybody.
Yeah, it's like we've seen so much discussion about BCASH. Here they are launching so BCASH is a fork of Bcoin for Bitcoin Cash. So it's an implementation.
It's a full node implementation, yeah.
Yep. It's really useful. Actually, at our business, we'll probably actually use it because it's potentially useful for people like us. Also, they announced they've actually been paying their employees in Bitcoin Cash by default since December.
Yeah, it's a while now. So we're in May, right? The middle of May now. And I think that's fantastic. And that just shows like what a great committed company Purse.io is. It's one of the businesses that I've been the most excited about in the Bitcoin space for a long, long time, because it actually, anybody that knows me, you'll know that I'm a libertarian. And if you don't know me, now you know I'm a libertarian. And one of the things that has me the most excited about Bitcoin is how it brings more individual economic freedom to people all over the world. That's what motivated me to get excited about Bitcoin and involved with Bitcoin. I love Purse.io so much is because it gives all the people who aren't libertarians a reason to start using Bitcoin. They can save 20% on Amazon by using Bitcoin Cash. If you're a libertarian, you'll want to use Bitcoin Cash anyhow. If you're not a libertarian, you'll want to use Bitcoin Cash because you can save 20% on Amazon. That's a big deal, and that's a big deal for everyone.
Yeah, definitely. So it's a real world use case. It's not just a real world use case. It's really, really useful for people that to actually buy stuff on Amazon with Bitcoin Cash. It's a huge deal. This is something that we at yours.org, we're trying to get people to earn Bitcoin Cash on the internet. This is a great way for people to actually use their Bitcoin Cash, and these are people that are definitely not necessarily libertarian. They're people that are just
want to
people
save money
out there in the world, and it's a real world use case. It's a way for them to be introduced to this technology in just a completely practical way.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Even socialists want to save money when it's their own money. So Purse.io, if you haven't used it already, please check it out. It's absolutely fantastic, and make sure to tell your friends about it too.
Yeah. So. Well, what was your story about your experience opening up your Purse.io wallet recently?
Yeah. So well, I didn't know it until you told me just a few minutes ago, but apparently you heard from one of the Purse guys that I was one of their biggest users on the website, and it's true. I loved Purse. I was ordering all sorts of stuff, and I was using it to order networking equipment actually at a discount, and then reselling it to other network equipment dealers in the past on there, and I loved it. And then when the fees became high and Bitcoin Core became not useful for payments, I stopped using Purse because it was too big of a headache, and I didn't want to deal with Bitcoin Core anymore. And so I logged in recently to see if I had any money in the account, and apparently I wiped out their hot wallet. I had 5 Bitcoins sitting on Purse.io that I withdrew. This is maybe a week ago now, and converted them all to Bitcoin Cash, and I'm looking forward to spending them as Bitcoin Cash on Purse.io here. And I think they said their beta is live now, so I think we can probably try it out now. Maybe tomorrow if I have time, I'll start shopping on Purse using my Bitcoin Cash again.
Yeah, all right, that's awesome. Anything else from the conference? I mean, so many things happened. I mean, there were, we mentioned, Jihan, for instance. He had an interesting comment about, somebody asked him, why do you still mine Bitcoin Core?
That's why do the miners support Bitcoin Core at all? Is I think what they asked him.
Yeah.
And he said, is it just like some short-term profit play? And his reply was?
Yes.
He said, yes, exactly. And that was it. So the guy in the audience answered his own question there.
Yeah.
And I think that's true. So we operate a pool on pool.bitcoin.com too, and we see most of our users, they select the option to mine whichever coin is most profitable. And like some miners have a philosophical preference, but most of them just like say, yeah, mine whatever is going to make me the most money.
Yeah.
And I guess that's true all over the world.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. There's so much else to talk about with the conference. Should we keep talking about the conference or more stuff?
Let's ask, what was your favorite part about the whole conference?
Besides Purse.io, I mean, because in seriousness, that was such an important thing. I mean, I think that, I love the panel with you and Jihan and Craig. I thought that was great to get thought leaders in the space together, up there on stage talking about this stuff. I thought that's really educational. It's the type of thing that's, I don't know when they're going to upload the videos. I know they're recording it. I hope they make that stuff available. I think that was a really great panel with Jimmy as the moderator. I hope that becomes public soon, and that's the type of thing we can show to new people. So many other presentations. You gave an excellent presentation. It was sort of motivating Bitcoin Cash.
For the same reasons I was excited about Bitcoin since 2011, those are the exact same reasons I'm excited about Bitcoin Cash, because it's a peer-to-peer electronic cash system, just like in the title of the white paper. And sadly, Bitcoin Core isn't anymore. And I wish the Bitcoin Core people good luck, but I'm not excited about your project any longer.
And let me just say, there's one. So I was really impressed with the conference. It was just really, really well put together. So it was actually a great experience to. The whole thing from start to finish, before the conference, during and after, and so on. Just a really, really well put together conference. So it's really, I'm looking forward to watching some of the talks I didn't get a chance to watch because I was out of the room. But it was a really excellent conference.
It sure was, yeah.
Okay, so another interesting.
And I guess one last thing on the conference, like if you haven't been to a conference put on by Calvin Ayre knows how to put on a conference. And I think you were too tired out last night with the jet lag to make it, but he had an awesome party last night and had some awesome events today as well. So next time Calvin Ayre puts on a conference, which I think is in November in London, I think they said.
I think so.
I know it's cold in London in November, but plan to go there. I'm sure it's going to be an awesome conference in London in November, put on again by Coin Geek and Calvin Ayre.
Yeah. All right. Another thing we have here is, Open Bazaar. They have a couple things, but one is that they opened up trading for cryptocurrency on Open Bazaar. This is a huge deal, actually. I mean, that's like a great use case for Open Bazaar. It's a decentralized market that, by opening up for trading cryptocurrency, this is actually amazing. I mean, they have a decentralized market for trading crypto. I mean, this is something people have wanted for a long time. It exists now. That's incredible, actually.
Thank you, Open Bazaar.
Yeah.
And so I've been really excited about Purse.io for a long time, but Open Bazaar is one of the projects I've been super excited about since, 2012 or 2013 when I first heard about it. And they've made a lot of progress. And I'm not sure if we've done it yet, but we plan to put all of our merchandise from the Bitcoin.com store, where you're selling shirts and stuff. We want to put all that on Open Bazaar for Bitcoin Cash, of course. But the fact, and I need to try it out to see how it works, but the fact that you can buy and sell cryptocurrencies on Open Bazaar, that seems like a pretty powerful tool.
I mean, it's because it's decentralized. I mean, this is sort of, it's potentially, and I haven't tried it myself, so I can't speak to you why. But exactly, it's like you can't stop this new financial system, right? I mean, this is amazing that people will be able to trade, crypto assets in an uncensorable way on the internet now. So it's a pretty big deal.
Sounds exciting.
All right. Another thing, of course, I gave a presentation about the money button yesterday.
Yeah, let's talk about the money button. So I'm excited about the money button, but the money button expert is sitting right here next to me, Charles. So tell us about the money button.
Yeah. So we launched a prototype. Today's Saturday, and it was 2 days ago on Thursday that we launched a prototype, and I talked about it yesterday. The money button is just, the idea is, look, so we made yours.org. It's a social network with built-in Bitcoin Cash micropayments. And we had a number of publishers and app developers come to us and say, your website's really cool. We love the micropayments technology, but we own our existing publication or app. Can you please make an API so we can use the micropayments, on our website or app? We're like, that sounds like a good idea. Let's make that. We need to make the money button of the internet, something where you can just press a button and send a micropayment to somebody else that easily. So we just made that available. We call it the money button. It's kind of like the Facebook like button. That's why we call it that.
Imagine if Facebook's implemented something like that, where every time you like someone's post on Facebook, it gives them a penny or two of Bitcoin Cash. That would be pretty awesome.
Exactly.
But you already have on yours.org.
So we have that right now. And so the idea is that we're going to make it that easy for anybody to integrate Bitcoin Cash micropayments into anything, a publication or an app. So we have a prototype of that now. We're looking for basically anybody that wants to test it right now. It's definitely a prototype. It's not ready for sort of a large-scale deployment, but it's ready for people to test it. And if you give us feedback, we're going to factor that in over the next 2 months while we're working with a design firm to launch a sort of a refined version of it for a mainstream audience in about 2 months.
And I think we'll be putting that on Bitcoin.com shortly too. I think is
That's
the plan.
awesome news. That would be really cool.
We're looking forward to it.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. We have so the pizza anniversary.
Yeah, it's on May 22nd in just a couple of days. For those that don't know, the first story of the first purchase ever to have been made with Bitcoin was on May 22nd, 2009, I think, right? So for 10,000 Bitcoins, somebody bought 2 pizzas. And I think it was some guy in the UK called up a pizza parlor in the US. I should have read the whole story again right before we recorded this, but Google will be your friend on this issue. It was 2 people far apart in the world. One guy posted online like, hey, wouldn't it be fun if I could order pizza with my Bitcoins? And somebody else agreed to buy him his pizza for 10,000 Bitcoins, which today the value of those 10,000 Bitcoins would be well over $100 million. Did I do the math right there?
It'd be 100 million. About 100 million.
Over 100 million.
Right.
Because there's all the forks too. So they came from those original Bitcoins.
Yeah.
You have the Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin Core, plus a couple of other ones. I think somewhere in the ballpark of $100 million today for 2 pizzas. But it's worth pointing out that at the time, 2 pizzas were worth 10,000 Bitcoins. Today, 2 pizzas are worth
0.00 something.
Quite a bit less.
But it's interesting because that was the first, as far as I'm aware, the first economic transaction with Bitcoin, right? I mean, that was the first time somebody bought something with Bitcoin.
That's the story.
Yeah, so that's it. It's a really remarkable moment, actually.
And so the anniversary again is here in 3 days, and lots of people are buying pizzas with Bitcoin Cash on that day. I think someone set up a website at bchpizza.org, I believe it was. And you'll have to take a look at that. And then I know in Tokyo, one of the very first places to start accepting Bitcoin was a restaurant called the Two Dogs Tap Room in Roppongi, and they serve beer and pizza. And I think they've pretty much stopped accepting Bitcoin Core at this point. And I know at the last meetup, like everybody there paid in Bitcoin Cash. And on the anniversary of the pizza day, they're offering half off on their pizzas. So if you happen to be in Tokyo, go to the Two Dogs Tap Room for half off on your pizzas on May 22nd, the anniversary of Pizza Day.
Yeah, all right. That sounds awesome.
And if you're not in Tokyo, come for a visit. We have a super active Bitcoin community. And that actually brings me back to one other thing I want to talk about that's not on the list, but I just remembered. Marco Coino, I think is the name. I'm sorry. Marco Coino is an app that's a map of all the places that accept Bitcoin Cash. And you can download it for iPhone or iOS, or Android rather, and see all the physical places that accept Bitcoin Cash near you. And I'm sure you remember, and I know I remember in the early days of Bitcoin, there were all these maps where you can find the physical places that accept Bitcoin near you. Well, all of that's now happening on top of Bitcoin Cash. And the Marco Coino, I believe is the name of it, app, is there available. I just heard about it for the first time. And not only can you see all the existing places that accept Bitcoin Cash now, you can add places that are already on the map. So if you have a business that accepts Bitcoin, download the app. And of course, when I say Bitcoin, I mean Bitcoin Cash. And add it to the Coino Polo app or Marco Coino or something along those lines. You'll have to
find a link and put it in the video notes, I guess. All right, that sounds awesome. That'll be really useful, actually. Okay, another thing we have is...
Had you seen that app yet? Or is that...
I haven't seen it, but I definitely remember the other ones from the past, which became irrelevant when merchant adoption actually started declining on Bitcoin. So I definitely remember that, and I look forward to trying it out and being able to find the merchants near me. That sounds really cool.
I think there were quite a few in San Francisco, from what I recall looking at
Really? Because, San Francisco is oddly lacking in merchants from a historical point of view. So
I know for sure. Actually, we'll divert into one other story. In Santa Clara, California, there's a Korean barbecue restaurant that's owned by a guy who I've been friends with. Getting old, I think almost exactly 20 years now, 19 or 20 years, and he initially had a big giant sign in his window that said "Bitcoin accepted here," and we had a Bitcoin meetup. This is before the fork.
Yeah.
Maybe 2 years ago now, and 100 plus people showed up, and it was a great meetup there, and everybody there was paying in Bitcoin for their dinner, and there were 3 Bitcoin Core supporters there, Eric Lombroso, Brian Bishop, and Luke Jr., and they were busy arguing with the people at the meetup, telling them at a Bitcoin meetup at a restaurant that accepts Bitcoin for payments, they were arguing with all the people there for the Bitcoin meetup, telling them not to pay with Bitcoin and that they should be using a credit card instead because Bitcoin isn't good for payments. Yeah. Whereas my friend who owns the restaurant, he wanted people to pay him in Bitcoin. He was loving it. And just such a different mentality where they're literally telling people
that shows how the
Bitcoin.
mentality changed. I mean, that mentality is the exact opposite, of course, of what people were doing early in Bitcoin. I mean, the thought that
they were begging people
use
to
it.
accept
I know,
it.
yeah. I mean, that's crazy. And I've heard stories like that from other people. Like, that's absurd that they think that you shouldn't use it for payments. It's just like, where did that even come from? That mentality is only in the past few years that something that way of thinking exists.
So, and I guess I want to add one other last part of that story. So, like, I think I probably disagree on almost everything with Eric Lombroso on the scaling debate, but I want to thank Eric. I came across a picture on, I think, Twitter of somewhere. There's a guy, his user ID online, I think, was Morpheus in Arizona using local Bitcoins, and he was selling Bitcoins to people. And the stupid U.S. federal government decided, oh, you can't sell Bitcoins to people, so they decided to arrest this guy. And they're trying to send him to jail for years and years and years for selling Bitcoins to other people on local Bitcoins. And thank you to Eric. I saw you. You showed up at the courthouse, and you were protesting the federal government's prosecution of this Bitcoin user. So I want to thank you for standing up for what's right on that respect. Even though I think you're completely wrong on the scaling debate of Bitcoin, you're completely right in the fact that people should be allowed to buy and sell Bitcoins with other people. So Thank you for standing up for what's right on that side of the issue, Eric.
Yeah. All right. Another one was, so somebody who was trying to use the Lightning Network, I think the story is something like they loaded some money into their wallet, and they made some payments or something like that, and then they wanted to withdraw, and they were unable to withdraw. Do you know more about the story?
I read the same story you did. They had like $300 and something tied up in a bunch of different channels, and they weren't able to close the channels to withdraw their money.
Yeah.
And maybe someday they'll be able to get all these payment channels working in Lightning Network, but like it's not even remotely close to being ready for businesses to use in commerce yet, whereas Bitcoin on-chain transactions clearly were. And you had businesses like Microsoft and Dell Computers using it for real-world commerce.
Yeah.
And instead that all got swept away and telling people to use something that doesn't even work yet.
Yeah.
So really sad and frustrating. And then just in Hong Kong a couple weeks ago, there was another Bitcoin Core supporter who's spent the whole evening talking about the fee market this and Bitcoin Core is great that, and let me show you Lightning Network. So I made a little bet with him, and I said, let's buy something from one of like the 3 stores in the entire world that accepts Bitcoin Lightning payments. And he tried to buy $9 worth of stickers from the Blockstream store. And the bet was that if he succeeds in buying them, I'll put on a Blockstream shirt and we can take some photos together. And if the payment fails, he'll put on a Bitcoin Cash shirt and we'll take some photos together. And he tried to buy $9 worth of stickers with his Lightning wallet. Payment failed. So I have some nice photos of him wearing a Bitcoin Cash shirt. And I hope he sees the light someday. Bitcoin Cash works as cash right now today. Lightning Network, it's a fun science project, but not even remotely ready for use in commerce.
Yeah. I think that's true. I think Lightning Network is alpha. In my opinion, I've talked about this a lot, actually. I mean, in my opinion, I don't think it will actually ever achieve the level of usability of on-chain payments. We'll see about that. Maybe they'll prove me wrong on that.
Just the fact that you have to be online all the time to receive a payment, that's kind of a showstopper.
Yeah.
I think right there. It can never be as reliable as on-chain transactions.
Yeah, just to go back to Bazaar, actually, this was one of their criticisms, because Bazaar, in the original version of Bazaar, it's a decentralized marketplace. You had to be online to have a store on Bazaar, and they went way out of their way to eliminate that usability problem so that you could turn your computer off and your store would still be online. And for them, it was like, they can't add Lightning Network in because we'd have to have people keep their computers on and the app open and running all the time to receive a payment. It's just not going to work. It's like an intrinsic usability problem that you can't solve with Lightning Network. It's never going to achieve the same level of usability of on-chain payments. So,
right.
Yeah. All right. What about Lighthouse?
So Lighthouse was a project started by Mike Hearn originally to help with crowdsourcing funding for different things, and it was abandoned, maybe 2013 or something. It's been a long time now, I think. But it's coming back on Bitcoin Cash now, and it seems to have quite a bit of active development.
There's a little more to that, actually. I don't think it was 2013, because this is actually... Lighthouse was really related to Bitcoin XT and Bitcoin 14.
2014, or I don't think it was 2015. Was it that late?
It might have been 2014. I'm not sure. But Mike Hearn created Bitcoin XT to add a message to the peer-to-peer protocol so that Lighthouse would work. And Bitcoin XT became the first platform that Mike and Gavin used to try to raise the maximum block size.
To try to actually make Bitcoin continue to be usable as cash for the world. Yeah. So thank you, Gavin and Mike, by the way. You have my full respect and appreciation for all your efforts in the space.
Do you know who's actually making Lighthouse now? Is it taken up by some new developers?
I think it's some brand new people. I'd have to check the GitHub repository.
I know one other thing about that. I know the Bitcoin Cash Fund said they're looking into using Lighthouse as a mechanism to fund projects. So they might be channeling some of their money into Lighthouse projects. So it's pretty exciting. We'll see what comes of that. I think it's a really cool idea.
I agree.
All right. There's some news about Twitter restricting Blockstream or something like that. Twitter's restricting messages about something or other.
So there's, I guess, the big thing that actually happened a couple of weeks ago, but this is only the third episode ever of the weekly report. So the @Bitcoin account got paused from Twitter or deleted from Twitter, and then some new person had it. It was like, I forget, they were like in Turkey or something, and they were tweeting some stuff that wasn't even, they were like, hello world, and like they weren't even tweeting Bitcoin related stuff, and then mysteriously all of a sudden the account was then restored again, and like no explanation given, and that's an account that's been, has almost 1 million followers, and big Bitcoin Cash supporting account. And Jack Dorsey, the CEO of Twitter, is a big investor in Lightning Labs, I believe.
Lightning Labs, I think.
Yeah. So
things
that make you go,
Well, it's what I mean. I'm going to speculate and say what I think might have happened there. On Twitter, you see a lot of these. Basically, there'll be core trolls, for lack of a better phrase, that report someone as being like violating Twitter's rules. Yeah. And Twitter doesn't have a perfect process for responding to this. So they evidently, like a bunch of people reported the @Bitcoin, account as being in violation of Twitter's rules, and Twitter shut it off.
which seems totally believable, but the part that seems so strange is how did somebody else, 2 different accounts seem to have control of it.
Yeah.
After that, or tweeting.
It's like somebody else registered. I don't know. I mean, I of course I don't know what actually happened, but it is weird that this is happening at the same time as it's announced that Jack Dorsey invests in Lightning Labs. Like it's oddly aligned with this,
Bitcoin Core supporters love censorship, as we've seen time and time. And we don't know if Jack does. Like, we hope Jack, and he built Twitter, which has been a platform for a lot of free speech and helped, Arab Spring and all sorts of things. But more recently, it seems like they've been a bit more restrictive as to what's being allowed to be said on Twitter.
Well, yeah, I mean, let's just segue into...
Yeah, that's a perfect segue.
Yeah, I mean, memo.cash.
And blogpress.com,
Yeah. We have decentralized Twitter on Bitcoin Cash now. That's amazing.
With up to how many characters now after the upgrade?
Like 220 characters or something
which,
like
and
that?
Twitter is what, at the moment, 240 or something like that?
So it's competitive with Twitter with the message size.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we've got uncensorable Twitter on Bitcoin Cash. That's actually really cool. And build a following on memo.cash and BlockPress. And
if the memo.cash and BlockPress guys are listening to this, like, make your implementations compatible with each other. I think the rest of the world would appreciate that. So we'd love to see that. And we have them on the Bitcoin.com Block Explorer. You can read the memo.cash tweets, or what do we call the posts, I guess. And I think,
memos?
Yeah, the memo. Yeah, there you go, memos. Yeah. And I think we've done the same for BlockPress. And if we haven't, we will shortly. But I'd love to see your protocols be compatible with each other.
Yeah, I agree with that. That would be excellent. They're actually pretty similar. It'd be great if they could be aligned, and so you can see messages on each other.
Which brings us to the thing we almost forgot when we were making the list of things to talk about. Like the Bitcoin Cash upgrade happened 48 hours ago now or something. That's a pretty big deal.
Well, it happened so smoothly that it's actually easy to forget how significant that is. Actually, I mean. Think about, for years, there was no hard fork on Bitcoin Core. And
they said it was impossible.
They said it was impossible. I remember and I don't mean to call this person out individual, but I'm just going to say it because it's true. There's a quote from Matt Corallo, who's a Bitcoin Core developer, who, when Bitcoin at the time, was worth about $20 billion in market cap, he said something like, you can't just hard fork a $20 billion system.
So let's do it when it's what's the $24 billion for Bitcoin?
Exactly. We just did it on Bitcoin Cash. It's worth the same amount. Evidently, you actually can just hard fork a $20+ billion system. Yeah. So if you all you have to do is you update the software, you make sure you communicate this to people that are running nodes, and they update their software. It's you can do that actually, and it worked flawlessly.
And it went so smoothly we almost forgot to talk about it when we were compiling the list, because just smooth as anything. And then so let's talk about the things that have been improved. So the part that I'm the most excited about, because I've been the most interested in using Bitcoin as cash, all right, is that now Bitcoin Cash has somewhere in the ballpark of about 30 times the transactional throughput capacity of Bitcoin Core. That's a big deal. 30 times the transactional throughput capacity, and somewhere in the ballpark of 300 times more capacity than it has right now at the moment, because the blocks on Bitcoin Cash aren't even 1 megabyte at the moment, but growing quickly because we see things like Purse.io and all these other businesses adopting Bitcoin Cash in their businesses. And then you're probably pretty excited about some of these new opcodes that aren't even new. They used to be on Bitcoin Core, and then the core developers removed them, but now they're back on Bitcoin Cash.
We added back some basic opcodes that are really sort of primitive operations that basically just make it way easier to program almost any smart contract at all. So people ask me like, what are you actually going to do with them? They're so basic, it's actually hard to even say. It's like, well, almost every smart contract that anybody writes moving forward is going to use them. It's just I think it's OR and XOR for one, and then catting and splitting strings. And if you've ever written a program before, you've probably used operations like this. So we're adding back in things that are really basic. So they're so basic that they'll be used in every single smart contract moving forward. So they're incredibly useful.
Yep.
All right. There's what you wanted to talk about Thailand, right?
So we talked about the Hong Kong Calvin Air Bitcoin conference that we just finished. And right before I was here, I was in, Bangkok, Thailand for a Thailand startup conference. Tons of Bitcoin stuff there, and almost all of it was happening on Bitcoin Cash. I got to go to the Bitcoin Center Thailand there. They were incredibly hospitable and nice and friendly there. Yeah. They have a little Bit Cafe right there at the Bitcoin Center Thailand that's accepting Bitcoin Cash for payments, and only one other cryptocurrency as well, in addition to Bitcoin Cash, and it wasn't Bitcoin Core. And it was actually Ethereum was the other one. And they told me they used to only accept Bitcoin Core. They're selling beer and coffee, right? It's like $3 purchases or something like that.
Yeah.
And they said when the fees became high on Bitcoin Core, we couldn't use it. So they now accept Bitcoin Cash and Ethereum right there. And pretty much everybody there was busy building on top of Bitcoin Cash. And then I went to the actual startup conference with a whole bunch of people there. And we set up probably about 100 people with Bitcoin Cash wallets and gave them each a portion of Bitcoin Cash. And the excitement was in the air about Bitcoin Cash. And I actually set up the CEO of this Thailand stock market or stock exchange there with a Bitcoin.com wallet and sent her some Bitcoin Cash. And she seemed to be pretty interested in it. I did that for a couple of her aides as well. So it was kind of fun when you get to set up the CEO of a national stock market with a Bitcoin Cash wallet. So that was fun.
Yeah, cool. I guess you use a Bitcoin.com wallet for that?
I did, yep.
What is there when you introduce new people to that? Like, how do you find that they are able to use it easily? Like, how much effort do you have to do to onboard them, basically?
Yeah, so I tell them now that it literally takes longer to download the app than it does to start using it. If you haven't installed our app on a new device recently, you'll be really impressed with how it does. So the app now downloads, and then it automatically creates a wallet and automatically pops up on the home screen. I've been asking my developer guys to have it open onto the receive payment screen rather than the home screen for the first time, but they haven't done that yet. But maybe in the next edition. So you have to hit the receive button, and then you're ready to receive payment, and then anybody can scan your QR code and send you a payment. So you literally from the time you download the app, you have to hit one button in the app to receive a payment. And we're going to get rid of that even one tap to be able to receive a payment in an edition coming soon where there's still some bugs within the app. We're really improving it a lot. We're going to speed up the rate at which you can send the transactions. I think, and obviously I'm a bit biased because it's our app, but I think we have the best Bitcoin Cash wallet out there right now.
Okay.
So,
all right.
Give it a try. I know what I want to talk about too. It's on the list of free.bitcoin.com. I got my first Bitcoin wallet or my Bitcoin money ever from a Bitcoin faucet by Gavin Andreessen.
Yeah.
Where'd you get your first Bitcoin ever?
I probably got it from the same faucet. Yeah. I mean, I don't remember, but I remember using that faucet.
It's hard to imagine. Name, right?
Yeah.
It's just some random...
Well, it makes it so, it doesn't matter because it's like, wow, okay, so... Because if you have to buy it, there's a big hurdle there. But if you can just get a little bit for free...
And see the magic.
Yeah, you can start using it right away. You can send it and receive it. It's amazing. You see the magic. You can really experience it.
And so that's now impossible to do on Bitcoin Core because the fees are way too high. You can't even. It's impossible on Bitcoin Core. On Bitcoin Cash, alive and well. Free.bitcoin.com. Anyone anywhere in the world can get some free Bitcoin Cash. Sent right to your wallet. So anybody who's watching this video probably already has some Bitcoin or Bitcoin Cash at the very least. But share free.bitcoin.com on your social media and show your friends and family. And I think it's a great way to spread Bitcoin to new people.
Yeah. All right, I think that covers the list.
Did we get our whole list? Yeah, so share free.bitcoin.com. And I have my little list of things that I want to recover at the end of every single episode, just to remind people out there that our Bitcoin, one of the most popular discussion platforms in the entire world for Bitcoin-related stuff, is completely censored. Go on Google and Google our Bitcoin censorship and read some articles by John Block where they document it plain as day. It is a complete echo chamber of censorship on our Bitcoin. So don't believe the opinions you hear there. And then the other thing, too, if you like the message we're spreading, please like this video on YouTube, subscribe to the channel so you can get the future updates, and then share this video on your social media because that's the only way we have of sharing this message. And you better believe we're going to be posting this on yours.org. We'll post it on Steemit. We'll post it on our BTC because that one is not censored on Reddit and, of course, Facebook and other places as well. So, yeah. But it's up to all of us to share this sort of media with your friends and family and help them set up Bitcoin wallets and send them some Bitcoin Cash. Of course, when I say Bitcoin, I mean the real Bitcoin, Bitcoin Cash. And yeah. Anything to add in closing?
Just one other brief comment, which is that I was talking with people today about the value of creating content. So just if anybody out there has a message to say, you and I were talking about it, more people should create content. If you have something to say, it's really valuable, especially in the sort of blockchain cryptocurrency world right now. There's a lot of terrible information. So if you have good information to share, I encourage everybody in the Bitcoin Cash community to just put it out there, and especially in the form of video, because video is really easy for beginners to watch a video and understand what you're saying, like it's coming from a real person. So yeah, just create more content.
Yep. And I didn't have a printer in the hotel room, but what we're going to start doing in future videos, I'll hold up a private key at some point in the video, so have your Bitcoin.com wallets ready to scan the private key in the future, and we'll give away Bitcoin Cash in every video. And I think we can probably overlay a private key in this part of the video right now when we post it online. So you'll get some free Bitcoin Cash if you scan that. We'll do that every episode. So make sure to subscribe to the channel and have your Bitcoin Cash wallets ready to claim the free Bitcoin Cash every episode. So
all right. Well, cool. Well, great to talk with you, Roger. This was awesome.
Yeah, and thank you again for making your fantastic content all the time as well. I really enjoy your videos.
Same to you.
Thank you. All right. Stay tuned, guys.